collected by private entities?
No, Fred, you know, when I read about the Auditor General's report, I got very much afraid because it only confirmed the worst fears of Kenyans. That SHA, the introduction of SHA was actually not made for the good of Kenyans or with the good of Kenyans in mind. That it was made, I mean, it was introduced because very high-placed people in government had an interest, commercial interest in this particular thing. So when we are told that the system, the SHA system, first of all, you know, the first issue that was raised was the cost of this system at 104 billion. And many people said that the major interest and the major motivation behind bringing this particular system, I mean SHA, was to be able to get this 104 billion. Because experts were saying, IT experts were saying, I'm not one, but they were saying that the most expensive system would cost somewhere around, some placed it at 2 billion, others even talked about hundreds of millions. And that time we were not as skeptical. We thought maybe it was naysayers that were bringing this. But now being told that this system again, that the ones operating it is not a government system. It's not government owned. It's privately owned. I actually would have wanted to ask the Auditor General who owns this system, because we would have been able to maybe connect and see whether the web.
The Standard has actually put them there on the front page, the different companies that actually run SHA.
Okay, thank you. I had not had time to look at the Standard. So, I mean, we need to know whether these companies are connected to high-placed government officials, so that now we can be able to establish the web of corruption that then was the motivation behind bringing SHA. Because if you ask me, Fred, I mean, 2.5% of all the contribution is going to these companies, and nobody told us that. Nobody has ever told. Nobody. I mean, prior to this report, ever explained to Kenyans why this system had to be owned by private companies. I had you asking Honorable Roko why legislators then were able to pass the particular legislation that brought SHA on board. And I think I want to say, because of course I also voted for it, and I have to own up. But then the promise was very promising. The promise was very promising, Fred, because we had been told that, you know, NHIF had limits on, especially regarding emergency, critical and emergency care, and then primary health care. So we were told that government under this system would have every Kenyan brought on board, including those who would not afford monthly contributions.
Senator,
the government was going to contribite for them.
You say, and you said, yes, you were part of those legislators who took it through this contract.
Yes.
The contract, clause 12.4 of the contract's general condition states that the projected revenues of more than 111 billion from the collections must be transferred to an escrow account on a daily or weekly basis. Meaning that legislators went through this contract, saw this clause, and still passed this piece of legislation.
You know something?